Hi friends, happy Monday. I hope you're having a great day. We are going to start chapter 11 today. Today's stuff should be fairly easy. For the most part, it is review. We'll add a little bit of stuff in here to make it not so like elementary, middle school-ish, because all we're doing is finding the area of shapes. These are the shapes we really are focusing on, just triangles, parallelograms, or a square and a rectangle. There are also parallelograms. And circles. That's really it. And so you guys have learned these three formulas. We're not doing circumference today, but you have learned these three formulas before. Go ahead and take out a piece of paper if you want to take notes with me, maybe jot these formulas down. The sub should have given you the air reference sheet, that blue laminated sheet. That is the sheet you will get on your air test. And on the back, on the upper left-hand corner, all of these formulas are there. So this is something you don't have to memorize, but I'm sure many of you already have those memorized, so it doesn't really matter. So this first example, again, if you want to take notes as if I were there, feel free to pause this and draw the stuff down. But I'm just going to keep going, so pause when you see fit. We have a triangle, and so as you can see here, to find the area of a triangle, we have to take half the base length times the height. And the height of your shape, your height of your shape and your base are perpendicular to each other. So don't always think the base is on the bottom. It is if the triangle or whatever the shape may be is positioned in that fashion, but I could rotate this shape clockwise or counterclockwise and the base would now be on the side. So the way I always think about it is the base and the height are perpendicular. They're going to form a right angle. So I know the base of this shape is 30, and I do not know the height of this shape. So to figure out the area of this triangle, I have to take half the length of the base times the height. So far I know half times 30, and I don't know the height. So this is where we use our geometry skills to figure out what this height is. Notice over here they have this little right triangle. Whenever you see a right triangle and you know 2 out of the 3 sides, you're going to use the wonderful Pythagorean theorem. So over here, I'm going to figure out what that height has to be. So I'm going to do height squared plus 12 squared equals my hypotenuse squared, which is 20. So I'd have height squared plus 144 equals 400. Subtract 144 from 400, and you get that the height squared is 256. If I take the square root of 256, I get that the height is 16 millimeters. So I now just figured out that my height, or my h, is 16. So I can go ahead and plug 16 in for h here, and finish my calculations. So if I type that all into a calculator, I get that the area of this triangle is 240 millimeters squared. Remember, the units for area is always squared because you technically did millimeters times millimeters, which makes millimeters squared. So Pythagorean theorem is something you can use to get missing dimensions you need to find the area on these problems. All right, second example. So this is a parallelogram. So I know I'm going to be using the formula base times height. So I'm going to do the area is equal to whatever my base is times the height. And you can already tell we don't know the height of this thing, but we do know our base, which is perpendicular to the height, is 15. So in my formula right now, I know the base is 15. I do not know the height. But look what we have here. We have a little right triangle over here, essentially. And we can use either special right triangles or trig to figure out what h is. So I'm going to use trig because I feel like you guys are a little bit better at that. And the h is my opposite side. And this 8.5 is my hypotenuse in this little right triangle. So O and H, in case you don't remember, is sine. So over here I'll do my scratch work. I have the sine of 45 degrees is equal to opposite, I don't know, h, over my hypotenuse, which is 8.5. So in your calculator, we're going to do 8.5 times the sine of 45. So 8.5 times the sine of 45, and we get it's about 6.01. I'm just going to round to 2 decimals. So now I know my height is 6.01. Multiply that times 15, and I get that my area is 90.16 millimeters squared. So in the last problem, we used Pythagorean theorem. In this problem, we had to use trig to get a missing side we needed. So just keep that in mind. These two things are commonly used to find area in geometry, since we're in geometry now and not like elementary or middle school where you did these things before. All right, next problem. This is what we call a composite shape. So notice it's not a shape that like we know how to find the area of. We've never found the area of something like this before. But what you can do is break it into shapes that you do know how to find the area of. So for instance, I could draw a line, not there, let me move it up a little bit. We could draw a line here and it would split this into a rectangle and a triangle, which we know how to find the area of both of those. All right, let's figure out some dimensions we might need. So we know the bottom of this rectangle is 10. So the top of the rectangle, which is also the bottom of the triangle, is also 10. We know the sides of the rectangle are 13, but it says this entire thing is 18. So to get just the piece of the triangle, I would do 18 minus 13, which makes this missing dimension 5. So now I have enough information to figure out the area of this composite shape. So if I find the area of this rectangle, we do base times height, so 10 times 13, which is 130 millimeters squared. To find the area of this triangle, I do half the base, which is 10, times the height, which is 5, and I get that the area of the triangle is 25 millimeters squared. So the total area would be the 130 plus 25, which makes it 155 millimeters squared. And you may have done this in younger grades. I don't really know, to be honest. But just remember, whenever you see goofy shapes, you can find the area of them. Just split them into shapes that you do know how to find the area of. Find all the individual areas and add them up, like we just did. All right, here's one. It is already split for us. We have a triangle and a half circle. So to find the area of the triangle, we do half base times height. So the area of the triangle is half the base, which is 3, times the height, which is 4. So half of 12 makes this area just 6 centimeters squared. The area of a circle, we haven't done this one yet, remember, is pi r squared. So to find the area of a circle, we're going to do pi times the radius squared. So pi times r squared. And it really doesn't matter if you use the pi button or 3.14. It's more accurate if you don't round pi, but for this stuff, it really wouldn't make a difference. So my area, since I don't have a pi symbol, I'm just going to write 3.14, but use whatever you want. I have 3.14 times, my radius is not 4. Remember, this is the diameter. So the diameter is double the radius, or in other words, the radius is half the diameter. So half of 4 is just 2. So my radius is just 2, and then I square it. So do pi times 2 squared, and the area of a full circle would be about 12.57. But this is only half of a circle, so we have to divide that by 2, and we get 6.28 centimeters squared. So to get our total composite area, we'll have our area of our triangle, which was 6, the area of our circle, which was 6.28, and our total area of this figure is 12.28 square centimeters. The biggest thing, and I forget this all the time, is you need to slow down. If you only want half of a circle, you have to remember to divide by 2. All right, I think I have 2 more. We're just going to find the area of the shaded section. So we need to basically cut out the area of this triangle. So to do this, we're going to do the area of the square, or it's a rectangle, I lied. The area of the square, and we're going to subtract out the area of the triangle. So it's like we have to do 2 problems in one to get the area of the shaded part. So the area of the square, that's probably the easiest. We do base times height. Or it's not a square. Why do I keep saying that? It's a rectangle. Ugh. Rectangle. I know y'all miss me now. Rectangle. Okay. Base 14, height 8. Base times height, 14 times 8, means the area of my rectangle is 112 millimeters squared. The area of my triangle, it's 1/2 the base, which is 5, times the height, which is 10. So half of 50 is 25 millimeters squared. So to get the area of just the shaded section, or part, I do the area of my rectangle, which was 112, minus the area of my triangle, which is 25, and the area of just the shaded section is 87 millimeters squared. So this is just like 2 problems in one. We had to take the whole rectangle and subtract out this triangle to get just the shaded part. And these should have been shaded. They like put these to show it was really a square or rectangle, whatever. They're the right angle symbol. So we didn't have to account for those. Oh, that was my last problem. Sweet. So if it wants the area of the shaded, just do the whole big shape, subtract out the white part to get the area of the shaded. That is it. Like I said, that's called composite area. If you need to rewatch this, go for it. If you need to jot things down, go for it. And then you have an assignment. The title is Area of Shapes. And on the first one, you are going to have to use some trig to figure out your missing side. But it looks like that's only one of the few. So that's the front. The rest should be pretty straightforward to find the area of. And then on the back, those are the ones where you have to find the area of the shaded section. Number 14 is another one where you're going to have to use some trig to figure out your missing height there. And so that is it. That is your assignment. This is due tomorrow, and go ahead and turn it in Tuesday when you get to class. I will take questions on any of this, but I'm hoping this is easy. For the most part, area of shapes shouldn't be a high school topic to you guys. So, but I will take questions Wednesday, of course. But please be good. Please do your work. I would very, very much appreciate it. You can email me or text me on Remind if you do have questions. I will be in meetings and stuff, but yeah, I can still answer, especially in the evening. I think my meetings are over at like 3:30, so I will answer. And then don't forget your Alex assignment is due Sunday at 5. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.